Something is happening to your body right now, and most doctors are not talking about it. Your feet burn at night. Your fingers go numb for no clear reason. You feel strange tingling or sharp shooting pain that nobody can explain. And every time you bring it up, you are told it is just part of getting older. But what if that is completely wrong? What if there is one specific thing you are eating or drinking every single day that is quietly destroying your nerves and nobody ever told you to stop? This is not about learning to live with the pain. This is about stopping the damage while you still have time, because once nerves reach a certain breaking point, getting them back becomes incredibly hard. So stay with me, because what you are about to learn could change everything. I am Dr. Michael Kent, and for many years I have worked with older Americans who deal with nerve pain, numb feet, burning sensations, and balance problems. Most of them came to me after being told the same thing over and over again. It is your age, it is your genes, there is nothing we can do. In most cases, that is simply not true. And today, I am going to show you why. Before we go any further, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your age and where you are watching from. Have you been dealing with tingling or numbness in your hands or feet? Were you ever told your blood sugar was a little high but not a big deal? Write it below, because knowing this information early is the difference between protecting your nerves and losing them. Let me tell you about a man named Jerrison. Jerrison was 68 years old. He had recently retired, he was still active, and he still felt sharp mentally. But every night his feet felt like they were on fire. During the day his toes went numb. Sometimes a sharp electric pain would shoot through his leg out of nowhere. His doctor told him it was probably just aging, maybe circulation issues, probably nothing to worry about. But when we looked more carefully, we found something specific. There was one thing Frank was consuming every single day that was slowly poisoning his nerves. He had no idea. When we took it away, his nerve damage did not reverse completely. That is not how nerves work. But it stopped getting worse. And for Frank, that was everything. So what was that thing? And why are so many older Americans unknowingly exposed to it every day? To understand the answer, you first need to understand something simple about nerves. Most people think of nerves like electrical wires, hard, durable, and easy to replace, but that picture is completely wrong. Nerves are soft, living tissue. They need a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients to survive. And unlike your skin, which can heal itself in days, nerves heal incredibly slowly. Sometimes they do not fully heal at all. That means damage that builds up over months or years does not just go away. It piles up quietly, and by the time you feel it, it has already been happening for a long time. Now here is the uncomfortable part. The thing most responsible for destroying the nerves of older Americans is not some rare chemical. It is not something in your environment. It is not even alcohol, though that certainly does not help. The biggest nerve-destroying poison in this country is something most seniors eat and drink every single day. It is chronic blood sugar toxicity. And the most important thing to understand is this: you do not need to have diabetes for blood sugar to damage your nerves. You only need repeated spikes. Here is how it works. You eat something that breaks down into sugar fast. Your blood sugar rises quickly. Your body releases insulin to push that sugar into your cells. Over time, your cells stop responding as well to insulin. So the sugar stays in your bloodstream longer. And while it is sitting there, it physically sticks to the nerve fibers in your body and to the tiny blood vessels that feed those nerves oxygen. This causes inflammation. It causes damage to the protective coating around nerves. And slowly, those nerves start to misfire. That is when you feel the first tingle, then the numbness, then the burning, then the pain, then the balance problems. The reason most people are blindsided by this is because it does not happen overnight. It builds silently for years. Patients come in and say it came on suddenly, but it never did. The damage was always building. The body just does not sound the alarm until things have already gone quite far. Here is something that shocks most people. Research now shows that prediabetes causes nerve damage almost as often as full diabetes does. The difference is that most people with prediabetes do not know they have it. Their doctor may have mentioned that their blood sugar is a little elevated or borderline. They walked out thinking they were fine, but in many cases, the nerve damage had already begun. Now, I want to pause here because I know what some of you are thinking. You eat healthy. You are careful about what you put in your body. I hear that from almost every patient I see, and I believe them. That is exactly why this problem is so widespread. The foods that cause the worst blood sugar spikes are not the ones that feel unhealthy. They are the ones that have been called safe and recommended for decades. The first big culprit is liquid sugar. Orange juice, Apple juice, store-bought smoothies, sweetened coffee drinks, sports drinks. These hit your bloodstream like a wave because there is no fiber to slow them down. Fiber is what puts the brakes on sugar absorption. When you eat a whole piece of fruit, the fiber in it slows how fast the sugar enters your blood. When you drink juice, all the fiber is gone and only the sugar remains. The result is a blood sugar spike that can be sharper than a candy bar. And millions of American seniors start every single morning with a glass of orange juice because someone told them it was healthy. The second culprit is refined carbohydrates eaten by themselves. A bowl of cereal with nothing else, crackers as a snack, white bread, white rice, pasta without much protein alongside it. These foods turn into sugar very quickly during digestion. On their own, without fat or protein to slow things down, that sugar hits your blood fast and your nerve tissue pays the price. The third culprit is constant snacking throughout the day. Every time you snack on carbohydrates, insulin rises. When insulin is constantly elevated all day long, your nerves never get a rest period. They stay in a state of low-grade inflammation without any window to recover. Nerves need stable, quiet conditions to function properly. Now, here is something that most people have never been told, and it may be the piece of this puzzle that matters most for you personally. Certain common medications that millions of older Americans take every day can quietly drain the body of a nutrient that nerves absolutely cannot survive without. Acid-blocking medications, which are among the most widely prescribed drugs in the country, can reduce the absorption of vitamin B12 over time. Some diabetes medications do the same. Certain cholesterol medications affect other nutrients that nerves depend on. Vitamin B12 is the main building material for the protective sheath that wraps around every nerve in your body. Think of it like the rubber coating on an electrical cord. Without it, the cord shorts out. Without enough B12, your nerves become exposed and fragile. They start sending garbled signals. And a person can have a perfectly reasonable diet and still be severely low in B12 simply because a medication they have faithfully taken for years is quietly blocking their ability to absorb it. I saw this exact situation with a patient I will call Margaret. Margaret had dealt with numb feet for 3 years. 3 different doctors told her it was just aging. When I checked her nutrient levels, her B12 was critically low. She had been on an acid-blocking medication for nearly a decade. Nobody had ever connected those two things for her. Once we corrected her B12 levels under medical supervision, her nerve damage did not reverse, but it stopped progressing. Margaret went from feeling like she was slowly losing her ability to function to feeling stable and back in control of her own body. That shift changed her life. Here is the full picture you need to understand about nerve damage. It is almost never just one cause. Blood sugar toxicity is the main driver, the gasoline on the fire. But inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, and poor circulation all add fuel. They work together and they make each other worse. Now, I want to say something very directly because I know this topic can feel frightening. Yes, nerves do not heal the way skin heals. Yes, damage that is built up over many years does not simply disappear overnight. I am not going to pretend otherwise because you deserve the truth. But here is the other side of that truth, and this is the part that most people never hear. While we cannot always undo old damage, we can absolutely protect the nerves you have left so things do not get worse. Stopping progression is not a consolation prize. It is a genuine victory. It means less pain tomorrow than today. It means better sleep next week. It means steadier balance next month. It means staying in your own home on your own terms for years longer than you would have otherwise. The reason early action matters so much is that nerves have a tipping point. Early damage shows up as tingling or occasional numbness. That is your warning. That is your window. And if you act now, that window is still open. I have seen people turn this around. Not perfectly, not completely, but enough to change their daily life in ways that matter deeply. So what do you actually do about it? The most important thing is to stop creating the sharp, repeated blood sugar spikes that are chemically damaging your nerve tissue. The single most effective rule I give every patient dealing with nerve symptoms is this: never eat carbohydrates alone. Not bread, not fruit, not cereal, not crackers, not rice. When carbohydrates are eaten without protein or fat alongside them, they enter your blood fast and cause a spike. But when you pair those same carbohydrates with eggs, meat, nuts, avocado, cheese, or olive oil, the absorption slows way down. The blood sugar rise becomes gentle instead of sharp. White bread, dangerous when eaten alone. It causes a fast blood sugar spike, but pair bread with egg, and it becomes much safer and slower to digest. Fruit, especially banana, risky when eaten by itself. It can create a sharp sugar surge that stresses your nerves, but eating fruit after a full meal makes it much safer. Crackers or breakfast cereal, not good alone. They release sugar rapidly into your bloodstream. However, combine crackers with cheese or nuts and the impact becomes more balanced. Rice or pasta, problematic when eaten alone. They can expose your nerves to a sudden sugar rush, but when you pair rice with fish or chicken, the meal becomes steady and balanced. Orange juice, one of the worst choices on an empty stomach. It contains no fiber to slow down sugar absorption. Whole fruit is always a better and safer option. Worst, no fiber at all. This one rule, pairing carbs with protein or fat every single time you eat, explains why two people eating similar diets can have completely different outcomes when it comes to nerve health. It is not always what you eat, it is how you eat it. Cut out liquid sugar entirely. No exceptions. No orange juice, no apple juice, no smoothies from a bottle or a blender, no sweetened coffee drinks. If you enjoy fruit, eat it whole in a small portion after a full meal, never on an empty stomach by itself. Whole fruit after dinner is a completely different event in your body than a glass of juice first thing in the morning. The fiber in whole fruit changes everything about how your body handles the sugar. Get up and walk for 10 minutes after meals when you are able. It does not have to be fast. It does not require equipment or a gym. A short walk after eating is one of the most effective natural tools for lowering blood sugar and improving circulation to the extremities where your most vulnerable nerves live. Ask your doctor to check your B12 levels with a simple blood test. If you have been on any acid-blocking medication, any diabetes medication, or honestly any medication for more than a few years, have a specific conversation about whether that medication could be affecting your nutrient absorption. Be direct and be your own advocate. Other nutrients that support nerve health include magnesium, folate, and alpha-lipoic acid. Research on alpha-lipoic acid in particular shows promise for reducing oxidative stress in nerve tissue. But here is an important warning. High doses of certain B vitamins, especially B6, can actually make nerve damage worse. Do not guess or self-prescribe. Work with your doctor, get tested, and get proper guidance before adding anything new. Finally, work to reduce the chronic inflammation that turns mild nerve irritation into severe, constant pain. Heavily processed foods, cheap vegetable oils, and excess sugar all feed inflammation. Fatty fish like salmon, olive oil, colorful vegetables, and anti-inflammatory spices work against it. A diet built around real, whole, unprocessed food is one of the most powerful things you can do for your nerves right now. I want to speak directly to something I know many of you carry. A quiet belief that nothing can really be done, that this is just the price of getting older and you have to accept it. I have watched that belief do enormous damage. People who accept that story stop fighting for their own health, they stop asking questions, and their symptoms get worse faster because the thing causing the damage was never removed. I have also watched the opposite happen. I have seen a woman in her early 70s who came to me leaning on a cane, terrified to walk across her own kitchen floor. She had been told by multiple doctors that her neuropathy was permanent and progressive. When we stabilized her blood sugar, corrected her nutrient deficiencies, and removed the foods that were driving her inflammation, her pain did not vanish completely, but it quieted enough that she could walk to her mailbox again. She could move through her home without fear. She told me she felt like herself again for the first time in years. She was not cured, but she got her life back. That is what is really at stake here. Not just managing pain, not just a better number on a lab test. It is independence. It is being able to feel the floor beneath your feet when you get up at night. It is trusting your legs when you walk downstairs. It is living in your own home on your own terms for as long as possible. Here is your simple plan for the next 2 to 4 weeks. Stop all liquid sugar completely, including juice, smoothies, and sweetened drinks. Pair every carbohydrate you eat with protein or a healthy fat every single time. Eat fruit only in small amounts after a full meal, never alone on an empty stomach. Walk for 10 minutes after eating whenever you can. Ask your doctor to test your B12 levels and ask specifically about whether any of your current medications could be affecting your nutrient levels. Do not change any medications on your own, but do ask the questions. Then pay attention, really pay attention. Many people notice less burning at night, better and deeper sleep, and steadier balance within just a few weeks of making these changes. Even a small improvement is meaningful. It tells you the damage is not yet locked in permanently. The window is still open. Nobody who promises a complete cure for nerve damage is telling you the truth. But nobody who tells you absolutely nothing can be done is telling you the truth either. The real answer lives between those two extremes, and that is where people actually get better. Your nerves have been working for you every moment of your entire life. They deserve a real fighting chance, and you deserve to finally understand what has actually been happening inside your body and what you can genuinely do about it starting today. Drop a comment below with your age and where you are watching from. Tell me whether you have been dealing with these symptoms and whether anyone has ever connected them to blood sugar for you before today. I read every single comment. If this helped you, please share it with someone who is suffering and has been told that nothing can be done. There is always something that can be done. You have far more power over this than anyone has led you to believe.